Welcome back to T1D and LexCam, your weekly dose of real talk, science, and practical tips for living well with type 1 diabetes. Before we dive in, a quick word from our sponsors. This deep dive is brought to you by LexCam, the brand trusted by thousands of CGM users for high-quality, waterproof, pre-cut adhesive patches. Whether you're wearing Dexcom, Libre, Omnipod, or any other CGM system, LexCam patches keep your sensor secure through workouts, showers, and everything in between. Check them out at the link in our show notes. And now, let's get into today's deep dive.
Thanks for having me back. I'm excited for this one.
Oh, me too. I'm your host, joined as always by our resident clinical expert. Today, we were taking a trip back in time, all the way to 2001.
Right, to a pretty massive milestone in the diabetes world.
Exactly. We are looking at a landmark Lancet paper by Mark Atkinson and George Eisenbarth. I mean, this single paper kind of completely dismantled how the medical world understood type 1.
It really did. Up until then, well, people thought type 1 was this sudden acute event. But this paper mapped out the actual mechanics of the autoimmune attack, starting with, the genetics.
Yeah, the genetics. So we learned that, half of the genetic risk sits right on chromosome 6, right, in the HLA region.
Exactly.
And I like to think of the HLA region as basically the immune system's barcode scanner.
Oh, I like that. That is a great way to put it.
Right, because it scans your cells, reads them as self, and just moves on. But in type 1, that scanner gets severely misprogrammed.
Yeah, it misreads the beta cells as foreign invaders.
And that kicks off this massive attack, wiping out, 60 to 80% of those insulin-producing cells before you even show signs of DKA.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah.
But the wild thing this paper proved is that the faulty scanner, it isn't the whole story. If you look at identical twins, they have the exact same genetic blueprint.
Sure, the exact same DNA.
But they only have a 30 to 50% concordance rate for actually getting type 1.
Wait, really? Just 30 to 50%?
Yeah, I mean, if it was purely genetic miswiring, both twins would get it every single time.
Okay, so if the genetic gun is loaded, but one twin gets it and the other doesn't, that means something in their respective environments has to actually pull the trigger.
Exactly. Like a virus or maybe something dietary. Something environmental kicks that faulty barcode scanner into gear.
And that starts this silent war long before anyone even knows they are sick, which, Atkinson and Eisenbarth pointed out you could actually track using autoantibodies.
Yeah, those autoantibodies are key here.
I mean, they aren't actually doing the destroying themselves, right? They're more like molecular smoke alarms.
Yeah.
When the beta cells get destroyed, molecular debris is left behind.
Right, and the body produces autoantibodies in response to that specific debris.
So finding them in the blood means the fire has already started.
Exactly. They are basically the biochemical proof of this slow-motion attack. And the authors showed this hidden process can drag on for a decade.
A whole decade, wow.
Yeah, a decade before the remaining beta cell mass drops low enough to finally cause clinical symptoms like extreme thirst or weight loss.
But think about the psychological burden of that back in 2001. We suddenly had a way to screen for these markers.
Oh, the ethical dilemma was just huge.
Right. If you screen a child and find these markers, you are basically handing them a 10-year countdown to an incurable chronic disease.
And the weight of that knowledge is profound.
Yeah.
Because you're predicting an outcome, but you have no actual solution to offer.
Yeah, because prevention trials were mostly failing back then. It's like having a high-tech radar showing a Category 5 hurricane heading right for your house.
Yeah, that is really bleak.
But you don't even have, plywood to board up the windows. You just have to sit there and watch it come.
Which is why the entire medical focus had to shift to managing the aftermath. Though, to be fair, 2001 was a time of big advancements in treatment.
Oh, sure. Genetically engineered human insulins, the first real dosing algorithms.
Even the very first primitive continuous glucose monitors were starting to show up.
But even with all that new tech, Atkinson and Eisenbarth didn't sugarcoat things. They literally called a type 1 diagnosis a life sentence.
They did. A life sentence to a really difficult daily regimen with the constant threat of kidney, nerve, and vision damage just hanging over your head.
And bringing that to the present day, it's pretty sobering. I mean, we have incredible hybrid closed-loop systems now, highly accurate CGMs.
But that core reality from 2001 hasn't changed at all. There is still no cure.
Which brings us to something really alarming. The incidence of type 1 is still climbing by 3 to 4% globally every single year.
Predominantly in young children, too.
So that makes me wonder about that environmental trigger we were talking about earlier. Our baseline human genetics haven't fundamentally changed in the last 20 years,
No, they definitely haven't.
but the disease rate keeps steadily climbing. So what is the hidden modern variable here? Is there something new in our environment?
It is the million-dollar question. Is it microplastics? A shift in the human microbiome? Maybe some evolving virus?
Right, something is quietly accelerating this immune system malfunction. And that's definitely a provocative thought for you to explore as you go about your week.
Because figuring that out well, that might finally give us the plywood to board up those windows.
Absolutely. Well, while the scientific community keeps searching for that environmental trigger, your daily management is what matters right now.
For sure. Taking care of yourself today is step one.
Definitely. So head over to our show notes to get 10% off LexCam patches with code G10 so you can keep your current CGM locked in securely. Until we find a way to reprogram that barcode scanner, keep your armor strong.